Hello everyone, Vickieverlie here. Welcome to your Astro Energy Forecast. The chart we're going to look at today is going to be the first chart of August, which is a full moon in the sign of Aquarius. There's going to be 2 full moons this month, which is unusual. This is a psychic or intuitive reading, so I do color outside the lens quite a bit, and I do get messages from my guides and downloads along the way. Do not be fooled by imposters. If you want to get a reading from me, you can do so only by going to my site at vickieverlie.com. I will never message you or anything else or DM you on any social platforms talking about readings. The only way to get a reading is to go to my website and order the readings there. I am offering the Eclipse readings, so if anybody's interested in that, you can find out about that at my website, and those will be available for a limited time. So let's dive right into the first of the 2 full moons in August, and this one is going to be at 9 degrees of Aquarius. Yeah, so 9 degrees of Aquarius. Full moons make you aware, they make you see things clearly, they bring things to culmination, they bring things to light. I just heard the old jingle, the old commercial jingle, GE, we bring good things to light. So that might be a message for somebody out there. By the way, I am the rock and roll prophetess, and I do get a lot of music. I'm a musician, a lifelong musician, and I get a lot of downloads and messages in the form of music. So that may come through during the course of the reading as well. Yeah, so inside of Aquarius, this Aquarian energy is this whole mankind, the brotherhood of man, advancement by leaps and bounds the guys come through with. This is space age, this is technology, this is forging our path into the future. And the moon is there, so it's coming, whenever the moon is always it's a subtle energy. It's an intuitive feeling, an intuitive hunch. There could absolutely be flashes of brilliance under an aspect like this. We do have Capricorn has moved back into Pluto, but Pluto was in Aquarius too. So Saturn's going to Saturn has moved out. It's over here in Pisces now, but major concentration of Aquarian energy. This is this whole with the AI, and there's many other things. I am going to do a whole video on it at some point. I've been making notes on it. But it is this leaping forward in the future, the space age, discoveries, technology, downloads. So all of this is definitely part of this energy. So of course, whenever we have a full moon, that means it's because this is opposing the sun. So the sun is over here at 9 Leo, and we do still have this big Leo party going on here. At this moment, we just have the sun in Leo, Lilith in Leo, and Venus in Leo. So there's a lot of, it's almost, I don't know if they would really be a bowl, it is kind of, but this, this Saturn, I keep wanting to call it Saturn, but it's actually Saturn's over here, it's the moon. The reason I want to call it Saturn, I think, is because that's where my Saturn, and my natal Saturn is 8 or 9 of Aquarius, so, but it is the moon. But it's holding down this energy, and so all this Leo energy, it's like anchoring it in some way. So of course, a Leo energy is all about let's have fun, let's party. I mean, it's August, many people are going on vacation, there's a lot of activities. In the Northern Hemisphere, it's summer, there's, the sun is shining because the sun is Leo, ruled by Leo and everything. So there's all this activity, all this fun, all this exuberant energy going on. And then the moon is bringing in this other part of it. The moon is the reflection. The moon is the intuitive guidelines. What I'm feeling is like by having fun, and I think I mentioned this quite a bit in the tarot readings for the month, but by having fun, you can jar loose these things that are kind of holding you back or blocking your aura, blocking your way, holding you back. Embracing the Leo part of this equation can really open the door to this higher enlightenment. And what I'm hearing too is let bygones be bygones with the Leo energy, because many people, over the last several years, especially in America for sure, we've had these debates over politics, and people, we've been friends with some of these people we've been friends with for decades, and all of a sudden you find out that they're on a different political view than you, and you're fighting all the time and all this kind of stuff. And then, with the pandemic, being separate from each other, not seeing each other, even further kind of added to the oppositioning, this opposition energy. So I feel like Well, embracing this Leo energy, enjoying the summer months for most of us, enjoying that fun, spirited Leo vibration, we can remember who our friends are and what we really do like about them and how much we do like them and how much we enjoy their company and how much fun we had together. Instead of being like, oh, you're on the other political side, so I hate you, or whatever, you know. And it's just got to the point of, it seems to be, and this in my case, but you know, what I do is I just unfollow people. I won't unfriend them, I'll just unfollow them. You know, but it seemed to get to a point where a lot of people are chilling out about that stuff a little bit anyway, you know, but it's just like anything you threw out, anything you say, oh, well, that's because you're this, or, you know, your political affiliation, they're every single thing, you know, the vaccines, everything's a political, you know, side. So I feel like this is a very opportunity because the Aquarian is about us all coming together. It's all coming together in unity and harmony, regardless of anything, regardless of, you know, our political beliefs, regardless of, you know, any kind of egoic. Because after all, Leo, I mean, every sign does have the positive and the negative, you know, and that Leo, the negative is that ego, right? So, you know, anything that's of the ego or of the 3D mentality or of the 3D incarnational experience, you know, ultimately the Aquarian energy wants to move beyond that and see that we're all on this journey together, that we're all part of the same team, we're all part of the same family, the humans, the earthwalkers, as my guides always call them, we're the earthwalkers. So by coming into this time of celebrating, coming into this time of enjoying each other's company, doing these fun things, because, you know, there's many things that go on all the time, like every year, maybe every year you go camping, or for instance, or every year there's these big parties that are every year, people have these different big parties every year. And during the pandemic, we weren't having those big parties, everything was canceled. So again, it kind of furthered the division. I mean, there's things going on here. You know, I'm not just blowing smoke up your butt here. You know, there's things going on. But why not, you know, why not strive for that higher road? Why not strive for that? Just, you know, remembering that fun time. And at the simple, because the 5th house is also children. And it's a known fact that children aren't racist. Children aren't against anybody. Children love everybody until they're taught otherwise, right? So it's just to get back to that real basic, simple, fun, laughter, enjoyment, celebrations, coming together, having a good time. And when you're having a good time and you're having a laugh, you know, do you really care what their political affiliation is or whatever their beliefs are on different issues or this or that? No. No, no, no. So that is the positive side of it. Again, it can be this egoic thing. There can be, you know, some elements of separation, or the other thing of the Leo, which I love my Leos, you know that. My mom was a Leo. I have a lot of Leo friends. But again, every sign has a positive and a negative. So, you know, the negative is that ego thing, or, you know, who's the king of the jungle? The Leo likes to be the king. The Leos are, you know, they, you know, the negative expression of it can be, you know, I rule over you. I am the all-powerful. I am the powerful and almighty Oz. But then the Aquarian moon is looking behind the curtain and saying, hey man, you're just like me. We're the same. You're no better, no worse. I'm no better than you. You're no better than me. We're all in this together. So that's, you know, one of the positive kind of, you know, ways that this could express itself. Yeah, it's squaring with the Jupiter. There's a lot of things at this kind of middle degrees. Let's start at the middle degrees, because we got the 9. Okay, we've got these 9s here. We've got Jupiter, which is aspecting all sorts of stuff. We've got all this stuff over here, this Mars and Pallas and Mercury, and we've also got, you know, well, middle to low, Saturn's opposing the Mercury. You know, that can again be, the Saturn opposed to Mercury can be this, you know, saying something that, what I'm getting is saying something that you can't take back. That's what the guys are coming through with. Initially what I got was saying something that, you know, you get a download from the universe and you just, you know, you say it without Because the downside of Virgos are hardworking, and there's so many great things about Virgos. I love my Virgos too. Always my best work partners. I've said many times back in the days when I bartended, when I worked these big nightclubs, and you didn't work the bar by yourself. You had at least one other or two other bartenders with you. If I was working with my Virgos, I was always happy because I knew they would pull their weight. They're so conscientious. They're so caring. They're healers. I mean, I could just go on forever how much I love Virgos. But Virgos can be hypercritical, very critical. That's a downside of the Virgo energy. And this could be some critical words that are spoken that maybe you can't take back, that maybe really sits in somebody's craw. Really, what I'm getting is potentially really hurt somebody's feelings, hurt them to the core. And, well, here's the thing. If you're dealing with somebody who's got that, expressing that way and is hypercritical, you got to know that it really is as much as they're critical of you or perfectionist towards you, they're 10 times, 100 times that towards themselves. They're very self-critical. They're very, very hard on themselves. And sometimes they can, they're too much in that. So that's, again, brings us back to this Leo energy. Can't we all get along? Can't we have some fun together? Have a laugh? Yeah, but there's a lot of things in that area. We've got Jupiter's trining the Mars. That's one of the things that really grabbed me when I opened this chart. Because Jupiter's always abundance, right? It makes more of, it expands, it makes more of. It's the great attractor, the great benefic. It's the biggest planet, It's a protector. What they just showed me is how, Jupiter has all those big pock marks in it because it shields the Earth from asteroids and stuff. It's a protector in that way. But trining this Mars and in the Earth signs of Taurus and Virgo, this could be a time frame when we could really make a plan, make a solid plan, get a lot of work done, get down to brass tacks or brass tactics or whatever they're coming through with. Let's get down to work. Let's make major accomplishments and make things happen and make progress. Make a lot of progress in whatever. It doesn't have to be about getting along with your friends again, like the first things I was talking about. With Earth, it's probably maybe building a business, building a house. If you haven't been out in your yard and the weeds are taking over like mine. Well, it's in my house, it's been so hot, it's unbearable to be out there. But, whatever, you dig into that dirt, dig into that thing, dig into that work project that you want to start, dig into that. If you're planning on starting some kind of a home business or your own, a solo gig of some sort, you can really dig in, you can really get a lot of work done and make a lot of progress. This feels really, of everything in this chart to me, intuitively, this feels like the strongest thing for a positive, to push forward and really, in a real practical way, in a way that you can see your progress. Because a lot of this other stuff, like the Neptunian things and all this, yeah, it's all dreamy and whatever, and it's kind of like, yeah, we're having our spiritual growth, we're making a lot of progress, but it's not really showing up maybe in the Earth plane. With the Saturn being so involved in the Pisces too, that definitely can give foundation or structure to these spiritual growth things. And if you're dealing with prosperity, which especially people who are spiritual, I notice that a lot of us deal with our prosperity issues. And you've got all these dreams and you're visualizing and doing all this stuff, but it's not really manifesting in the 3D reality. This could be like very much a doorway to make that happen with this Jupiter Mars. Like, we got a plan, we've got a direction to go in. Let's get down and get to work. Well, the nodes have changed signs. So besides that, we've got those mid numbers. We've got a lot of these 28s and 29s, and the Pluto it's been an ongoing square with the Pluto and the nodes, but it's on right there, 28, 28, 28. So it's really dead on. Being called to change, being called to shift energy, being called to re-examine. With the North Node, we want to re-examine our goals, don't we? We want to re-examine our goals. We want to align with it's not quite with the Chiron, that's coming. And we'll talk more about that, but through this alignment of our goals, resonating out with great healing, the vibration, they're showing it to me like this, like the North Node, and then echoing. They talk about echoing a lot, my guides do, echoing out with the Chiron to heal all. You start with you, the sign of Aries, you start with self, but then it echoes out, you know, over many dimensions and many timelines and many, you know, with the nodes, and it's very karmic. It's often, you know, this generational stuff too, you know, going back to, you know, and all of us incarnate into a family line to do that work. We all do. You know, that's been pointed out to me again and again with the guides. That's a thing. We don't all have to. We could say, screw it, I'm not gonna, you know, a lot of people, it seems, you know, not interesting, but it's kind of, it's a trend that I've noticed, that many people just ditch their families, you know, they don't have much to do with their families anymore. And, you know, of course, me, the Capricorn here, and I have Saturn in the 4th house, so, you know, I'm heavily, I always have been, and you know, the family is very important to me, but, you incarnate into this family line for a reason, on a soul level. And the nodes is all about dealing with stuff on a soul level. This is your soul work, you know, and so is the Neptune, so is the Saturn, so is the Pluto. Mercury, Sun, Venus, Mars, that's all your everyday, you know, your personal planets, those are your everyday dealings with, you know, whatever, your distractions. The distractions of the 3D reality that take you away from this higher calling. But that's why you incarnate into those families. And it can be hard. It can be a bitch. No doubt about it. You know, it can be very difficult. It can be very hard. But as this comes closer, you know, that's going to be a big thing. We're all going to be called to deal with it on some level, you know. And besides, you know, the Pluto is calling for this big transformation too. So let's go back. We've got the Pluto. We've got the nodes at these higher degrees. We've got Venus up there, 26 degrees. Uranus at 22 degrees. And Neptune at 27 degrees. So, and note that Venus is a personal planet, but mostly these are these longer cycles. So, we're drawing to an end, because, of course, it only goes up to 29 degrees if you're not familiar, and then it starts all over again at 0. It's a never-ending wheel. So when it's at 28 and 20, you know, 29, these high 20-something degrees, it's very much at the end of this, you know, this cycle, this astrological wheel, this astrological cycle. You know, these, like, especially like the Pluto and the Neptune, these are hundreds of years of stuff, you know. So it is beyond one human lifetime. And even if it's not in your own family, even if you're sitting there saying, well, I blew off my family and will never talk to me and I don't care what you say, Bill. That's your choice. I'm not trying to push you to do anything that you don't want to do. But it's bigger than yourself. Just know that. Maybe it's not just your family. Maybe it's, you know, whatever. You know, with the Aquarian moon too, and Pluto going back into Aquarius, the Aquarian is your group that you're aligned with. Whatever your it could be your family of choice, or perhaps, you know, a cause that you are aligned with, or that you feel a part of, that you feel joined with, you know. I like that the part of fortune is conjunct Uranus. So cool stuff could go on at this time. Again, and Aries is quick energy, fire. We've got all this Leo. This is this fire energy. It's like things can switch very quickly. There could be big changes that come about very quickly. And with Uranus and the part of fortune together here, you know, it makes me feel like it's a, well, this is for Eastern time. Now, I should note that. I mean, it's Eastern time, but what I do is run the flat wheel. So its whole house is 0 on each cusp. If that is for those that are more astrology. If you're not more astrology, don't worry about it. But the thing is, the part of fortune can vary possibly by where you run the chart for. But I run it for Eastern time in New York. But at any rate, in this chart that I'm looking at, and it's presenting itself as, you know, like this beautiful surprise. This beautiful surprise that in the sign of Taurus, is of the physical world, is of the physical nature. Maybe even, you know, financial for some, especially if you have something in these, like 20 to 22 degrees of either Taurus or any of the earth signs, Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo, or any of the fixed signs, which is Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, and Leo. I almost said Libra, but Leo. Yeah, and this is a fixed full moon, and this Leo stuff is fixed. So, of the fixed signs, though, Aquarius is the most willing to change, the most willing to grow, the most willing to expand, the most willing to move beyond earthly constraints, earthly constraints, earthly fixations, earthly things that we get stuck on and get, we get stuck on that we can't move forward with. Let's just take a look at the aspectarian really quickly. Yeah, it's squaring the Jupiter. We saw it. We said that. The Mercury's opposed to Saturn. Yeah, I talked about that, about what you say. Somebody could be really critical. Maybe try not to take it to heart. But be also, if you're the critical thinker or the critical speaker, think before you blurt it out and say anything. Because you could say it in anger too with Mars. Mars is anger. The downside, it's always a negative and positive and negative. The downside is that you can get angry. Yeah, and then we've got the Mercury opposed Saturn. We've got the Venus square Uranus. Okay, I didn't really catch that one. Well, I was talking about all the high degrees, but yeah, this is, again, it's bringing in, I was picking it up through the part of fortune, but also because of the Venus. These sudden changes could be magically delightful. That's what the guides came through with. When they said magically delightful, it reminded me of magically delicious. Well, maybe magically delicious too. Your Lucky Charms. That's from that commercial, of course, if anybody remembers. As many do, I'm sure. Magically delicious. It's magically delicious. Talking about anger and this kind of thing, we do have this Lilith at 17 of Leo, and it's trining that Chiron in a pretty tight orb there at 19 degrees and 17 degrees here. So, Lilith, she's the empowered woman, okay? Lilith is the empowered woman. She stands up for herself. She did not want to be second to Adam or anybody else, She stood her ground and she stayed powerful. And in the sign of Leo, that's expressing very strongly, like, you're not better than me. Nobody is better than me. I won't put anyone before myself. And then with the Chiron in Aries, it's bringing forth again all this healing energy. But it can get a little, I feel a little bit of, this can get a little, I'm trying to be diplomatic. Sticky. That's what the guys are talking about. It can get a little sticky. But what's the song that's coming through? It's a rap song too, which I'm not a rap fan, but it's tricky. It's tricky. Yeah, it can get a little tricky. Tricky and sticky. So, step lightly. Things can escalate. And if you get that feeling that somebody's trying to diss you or whatever the case may be, it could get blown out of proportion. You might be getting triggered because of other wounds, because this Chiron is this long-standing wound. So, check yourself before there could be some tendencies to potentially fly off the handle. There's a couple things showing up like this, where you get offended or you get pissed off, but we always got to bring it back to where is the actual full moon in? Actual full moon is up there in that sign of Aquarius. It's up there in that, you think of the star card in a traditional tarot, because that is the card for the Aquarius, The star card, ultimately, I would say the star card, let me pull out my mini Wade Smith deck here. Let's pull out that Aquarius card, or actually the star. Well, maybe I better not, because people are getting all hung up on. I heard about that, but the card. It's the beautiful expression of light, love, higher dimensional frequencies raining down. When you're praying or you're asking, your spirit guides and everything. The star card, that is the card of that blessing. They're raining down those blessings. They're pulling out from the collective conscious or from your prayers or what have you, and then they're returning it back to you, cleansed and purified and devoid of all this noise, all this ego noise, all these I'm offended, I'm being offended. People get offended kind of easily these days, And that's, going back to the Leo energy, that's one of the things that I find I mean, they can be. It depends on what kind of Leo. Sometimes they can, like I said, have that chip on their shoulder. But for the most part, my experience with Leos is they'll laugh it off. And they're everybody's friend. If you ever know a Leo, they have so many friends. You know, they're so gregarious. They have so many friends. They don't sweat the small stuff for the most part. You know, they want a lot of respect and love, but they give a lot of respect and love in return. And then it brings us back to that, you know, everything being a never-ending cycle. It's all a circle. The star energy, it's this energy that comes up. It's cleansed and it's returned. Returned to sunder or something. I'm not quite getting that right. Anything else that I missed in the aspectarian? Yeah, we talked about the Mars trine Jupiter, Neptune sextiling Pluto. Yeah, bringing those dreams into reality, tuning into that higher spiritual force. Neptune has been so much in its power in its own sign. It's retrograding now, but it's just when these planets get at these final degrees, it's like the culmination too. Just like the full moon is a culmination, these higher degrees are the culmination. They've come to that 29 degree, that finishing point, and it's the end of a journey in whatever sign. And then at Neptune, of course, it's in the sign of Pisces, and then it's going to move into 0 Aries at some point. Not anytime soon. I don't even think this year. I think it's a ways off, but nonetheless, it's here. It's fully in this Neptunian. It's supercharged. That's what I want to say about it. It's like this supercharged energy that is fully in its power. It's fully in its resonance. It's spent a lot of time there. It's been there, I don't know, more than 10 years, I want to say, that Neptune's been. I'm not for sure on that, but it's been there a long time. So, you know, it's been in this sign for a long time, recharging its batteries, so it can return to the heavens of whence it came, is what the guys are saying. But like that star energy again, return back, purified, cleansed, bringing back this knowledge and bringing back what it's learned along the way, what it's discovered, what the changes have been over the last whatever, how many years, what is it? I have all that stuff over here for my astrology transit stuff. Let's see, you know, since the mid-1800s. You know, that was the last time. So how have things changed? And how has the mass consciousness of the Earthwalkers or the humans changed during this time frame? Because there certainly has been, you would think, you know, you would hope, you would think, and that is, again, brings us back to this Aquarius energy. We're here to grow. We're here to expand. We're here to rise above. We're here to move forward. We're not here to uphold old standards. That's not it at all. We live in an expanding universe, and we are here, we've incarnated to help this process along and help Earth and Gaia, you know, on her journey, you know, on her journey through the cosmos, to help her ascend through our own spiritual work that we're doing and into the circumstances that we've incarnated in, even if it's not your family. It could be a lot of things. Maybe it's not your family. But we, you know this, that you were born into this family because you wanted to tackle it. You wanted to try to heal it, you know. Any rate, yeah, this is the reading, and it's interesting, this month there's going to be 2 full moons. It's a blue moon in Pisces towards the end of the month, so it's once in a blue moon, you know, it's a very rare thing. I am opening up for the eclipse readings if anybody's interested. Now, if you order the eclipse reading, what it's going to be is a tri-wheel. First of all, it's going to be your chart, the first eclipse, and the second eclipse. You're getting, you know, there's 3 wheels that we'll look at. And the other thing is, your chart is the basis for it, so it's not this whole house 0. It'll be your actual ascendant and your actual house cusps for those who are more knowledgeable about astrology. But it makes a difference. You definitely, if you're doing your own chart, I would say you don't want to use this whole house thing. This is just the best way I feel to do these general, you know, forecasts for everybody. But, you know, you want to use your actual house cusps, I should say. So it'll be your chart is the foundation for it all, and then we put the other 2, the eclipse wheels, around the outside. And thanks for everybody who's already started ordering. I appreciate it. And if you haven't got yours yet and you want to get in on it, You can find that only on my website. If anybody's DMing you or emailing you and saying, hey, I'm going to give you a reading, I don't ever do that. The only thing I do, I send out, if you're on my mailing list, I do send out a birthday wish every year. And I do that. But it's going to be my email and my website. And if you order a reading from that email, it's going to direct you back to my website of vickieverlie.com. So don't be fooled by imposters. It's so rampant on YouTube. It's Vickie, my name, vickieverlie.com. That's my website. Don't be fooled by imposters. It's everything you want to know about any of that is all in the description of this video. But I know that people are also hijacking the videos. So just make sure that you're watching Vickie Verlie at vickieverlie.com, and this is Rock and Roll Prophetess on YouTube. So if you're watching it on any other channel, that's not real, okay? So just, I know it's kind of like a broken record, but it's a shame that people are so doing this kind of thing, It's the time and effort it takes to try to steal somebody's stuff. You could do your own thing. And that's a big part of the Aquarian energy too, is doing your own thing. Expressing source through your own individual human form, but also as part of the collective. Okay? Alright, everybody. Well, this is the first of 2 full moons. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, you are love and beauty incarnate, and we'll talk again soon. Bye.